football. And we got our very own Jude LaCava right there. How you doing, Jude?
Mike, how are you, man? We're rolling down the final week of training camp out here, but this was a very special day today in terms of returning players. I mean, Robert Kimdiche, the team's first-round pick, big number 90, really talented defensive lineman, can play a couple of different positions. Just a natural when you see his raw power and strength and what he can bring to the table. And that was an interesting development. Tyrann Mathieu, second day back at practice today, just to see number 32 out there running around. Feels good, comfortable, commenting that it's just great to be back on the field. And then Justin Bethel, number 28, the other cornerback, the veteran that's trying to nail down that starting position opposite Patrick Peterson, also participating in drills, not full board just yet, but this is what the Cardinals have been waiting for with a couple of preseason games left, the return of some key players that they really want to plug in when they shoot for the opener against the New England Patriots. So that was pretty significant, probably the most significant news of the day. Larry Fitzgerald had the day off. That's nothing different, just based on the fact that they're trying to pace these veterans. Palmer gets a day off from time to time. Fitz gets a day off. But I will have to say that for the most part, this team is gearing towards the most significant preseason game of the season, and that'll be this Sunday on Fox 10 when they travel to Houston to take on the Texans. That's when we'll see the starters, the first-team players, look at maybe close to a half when it comes to snaps. So we'll really get a good indication. It's been, a so-so preseason. You don't overreact to what's going on in preseason. You do evaluate, especially some of the younger players. But this Game 3 Sunday will be the most significant preseason game as they point towards the start of the regular season.
And I love it. It's on our channel, so that's like a double bonus right there. And it's my favorite week of preseason. Week 3 is like that's the best week, right?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I think this is when you want to see sustained drives. This is when you want to see the offense in rhythm and clicking, ball security. You don't want to see turnovers. You want to see this team. This is kind of really your best audition for the regular season. This is when you want to really look at 6, 7, 8, 9 play drives, no turnovers, a nice balance of the pass and the run. This is when you want to see some of your frontline players, in particular on defense, really get into a kind of a momentum that you can carry over into the regular season. And then you go to the final preseason game, and that's kind of the bubble game for guys that are right on that bubble to make the team, to make the 53-man roster. Now remember, coming up after the Texan games on Sunday, they'll have their first cut down, and I believe they'll get down to 75. So we'll see some of the fringe guys that were desperately trying to make this team. That'll be the first major cut. And then, of course, after the Denver game, they'll point towards then making the decision of the 53-man roster. That includes also players that are vying for position on the developmental squad. So this next couple of weeks, it means business. I mean, you can look at all the reps, and it's kind of the dog days of training camp. When you get into the final week, they'll wrap up camp this coming Friday before they go to Houston. This is really the key point. If you're going to make an impression and you want to do it in real time in a real game, and you're a young guy trying to make this team, you get a chance to play against the Texans. You got to make yourself known. You got to shine out there. You got to make an impression with this coaching staff. So very significant week, if not the most significant week of NFL training camp.
Absolutely. And what are you going to be watching the most come Sunday?
I think a lot of times I look at the offensive line and how they handled different defensive fronts, and I look at some of the new parts there, A.Q. Shipley, Evan Mathis, and DJ Humphries. And I'm not overly critical of what does or doesn't happen. Just as a unit, as a group of 5, how does this offense blend when it comes to run blocking and pass protection? And then on the other side of the ball, I want to look at how the secondary evolves, and we'll see if Justin Bethel gets some reps. We'll keep an eye on that. The other really key important point, and this is kind of tried and true NFL maxims, if you will. To me, the preseason is really for your backups. It's really for your number 2s. A guy like Drew Stanton, who has not played well, quite frankly, in preseason, you just want to see him hone his skills, get some confidence, and get into a rhythm with Pat. Like if I would sit here and tell you, if I'm Jake Coker or I'm a guy like Matt Barkley, how do I want to play? I want to play like Mike Bercovici played Friday night. What does that mean? what was he? Like 9 of 13, 103, 108 yards, whatever it was. He moved the ball. He made some nice completions. He managed the game. He didn't turn it over. That's what you want if you're a young quarterback, even if you're a number 2 quarterback. Some drives, some completions, a high completion percentage, and then you just want the offense to click a little bit. So I'm looking at backup quarterback, offensive line, the secondary a little bit, and then the general feel that this team is in sync when it comes to trying to parlay that to the start of the regular season against New England on September 11th.
There you go. And Jude, can you ease some fears of some fans or some so-called fans? I've been seeing some Facebook posts, and this is preseason, but they're already saying, well, they're 0-2. That doesn't look good. Can you just ease some fears and just say, hey, this is only preseason here?
Well, I think that first off, the old adage is the games don't count, and I'm not sitting here saying that coaches will never say, well, we don't try to win games. I mean, that's counterintuitive to everything you're about as an athlete, right? Whether it's an exhibition game or a game in your backyard, you're always trying to win. But really, let's be honest, this is an evaluation period. This is an evaluation from spots 30 through 53. So evaluation trumps, pardon the expression, the actual first team players. You're looking at evaluating your undrafted free agents. You're looking at evaluating your draft picks, some of your newcomers, some of the guys you're bringing into camp, and that's the biggest thing. I would say to you that Game 3, as we talked about even weeks ago, Mike, is the most important because that's when you want to see a sample size of, okay, that's the Cardinal team that we got the gist of last year. So you do want to see some success. You don't want to be turning the ball over. You don't want, to me, this is all muscle memory. This is work habits. This is execution. And you want to make sure you hone that, especially for preseason game number 3. Now, having said that, a lot of people are saying, oh, man, they're not playing their best football. I am not worried about that. I think the biggest thing you want to look at is execution at a variety of different positions. Guys that have been in this league 7, 8, 9, 10 years, you know what to expect. They're under contract. They're going to be the core of your football team, and you know what to expect. Now, you never want to get into a habit of sloppiness, and all of a sudden you're turning it over, and now you got to, quote, turn it on, because sometimes that gets into a little bit of a problem in terms of your mindset. So I wouldn't overreact to it. I would watch carefully, though, how this team plays the first half against the Texans. You want to see a rhythm and a confidence in the style of play that you expect from a contending football team.
Absolutely. And tell us this past weekend, what was it like for the fans when they got to see the Honey Badger back on the field? What was that like?
Mike, I've been around the franchise a long time, and there's very few players that have that kind of electricity, that kind of charisma. I go back, and I'm trying to cite examples. Jake Plummer had a lot of charisma when he came here from Arizona State, and then they had that playoff year. There were certain players that, way back when, Larry Centers had a little bit of that, even though those teams really struggled. I think in more recent times, Kurt Warner had that buzz about him because you knew what he could do for a football team. Tyrann Mathieu has the look, he has the charisma, he has the playmaking skills, and he just seems to have a knack of connecting with fans like I've never seen a player really in this franchise. Maybe it's just his whole life story and who he is, his nickname, the way he plays. It was electric. I mean, when I see him out signing autographs, I mean, I'm not trying to, run a popularity contest here, but fans love him. They just can't get enough of number 32. So when he was on the field yesterday, it was electric. When he's out there, fans just, there he is. I want to get an autograph. There's our guy. He has that it factor that draws fans to him. The way he plays, the way he that smile, everything about the guy. He's just a very unique personality with a very unique life story, and he's at a different level. I mean, this guy is a national type draw, and when he's on the football field, fans can't wait to see what will he do next. What great play, what turnover will he force? Will he come up with an interception? Will he, look at a tackle for loss? He just has that knack, and you want a couple of those guys in the marketing of your franchise, and they're ecstatic to have him back. Now, again, having said that, I don't expect Tyrann Mathieu to play Sunday. I think they're going to be very careful about how they bring him along. He knows the game. He's a veteran guy now. You don't want to put him in a position where he's not quite 100%, and you got to kind of pace him as he gets set for the regular season.
There you go. And for our starters for the game, what can we expect them to get to play all the way to halftime and maybe a little into the third quarter, or do they stop right there at the halftime?
I think you're going to see this team, first team offense, play well into the second quarter. Maybe if they can put a couple of scores together, they might get pulled a little bit early in that mid to late second quarter. I don't see them playing the second half. I think, again, some of those guys that you're really evaluating on those second teams, those are the guys you want to see out there that second half. So I would say for you, for the most part, you're going to see this team, this first team, both offense and defense, play into the second quarter come Sunday against the Houston Texans. And that's, again, I think where Arians will create a sense of urgency and say, let's look like a contending football team. Let's get some good drives together. Let's play the aggressive defense. I think one of the things we've seen from this defensive unit that's been a little different from last year, and guys like Ron Wolfley, who's one of the more colorful analysts, has suggested, and if you're watching the subtleties of the game, they're getting pressure with 4, and we're not having to see, bringing 5 and bringing 6. So I think what you have to be impressed with, based on Chandler Jones, number 55, Okafor, you see some of the other guys that are out there like Marcus Golden, is that you don't have to bring the kitchen sink like you did in previous seasons to put pressure on the quarterback, and that allows a little bit more, solid play when it comes to your secondary. So that's been an interesting development that I think you're going to see more of. You don't have to go too high risk in putting pressure on the quarterback. And I was kind of curious to see number 55 playing on the left side, playing on the right side. He is going to be, Chandler Jones, really a lot of fun to watch. Indeed,
it will be fun to watch. And we talked about this a little bit ago about the national exposure for the Cardinals, and once again getting picked up. It's going to be, right there on Fox, right here on Fox 10, and Joe Buck going to be commentating. So tell me once again about just that, how priceless it is for the Cardinals to get that national exposure right off the bat.
Well, Mike, this is really a run-through. As you know, the Super Bowl in Houston, Texans, at Reliant Stadium is going to be on Fox this year, coming up in late January, February. So this is a run-through for your A-team. You're getting the A-team, and you're getting everybody that goes with it, with Joe Buck calling the shots. And I think that, you work out the kinks of what it's like in Houston, the stadium itself, and for your first team broadcast crew, this is the same crew you get for the Super Bowl. So, wouldn't it be interesting to see if this is a prelude to what might come for Super Bowl 51? Again, it's all of the glitz and glitter that goes with being a national brand, a team that is in the mix when you talk about the Packers and the Patriots and the Cardinals. And, 10, 15 years ago, you would have been crazy to even suggest such a thing. But they're in the national discussion. They're in a lot of these top 3 or 4 rankings when it comes to polling of teams that should be in the mix for a playoff spot and then some. So when you see a guy like Joe Buck and you see that crew out there and you see Houston, Texas, you see a run-through for the Fox broadcast team that is important for them. I mean, we've seen the humongous numbers that go with the Super Bowl. So it's their run-through. It's their walkthrough, if you will, come Sunday. And, of course, the game will be on Fox. We'll bring in Max Starks after the game, a guy that has been a fabulous analyst for us, a guy that played for Bruce Arians in Pittsburgh, and I think breaks down the game as good as anybody in the business. He'll join us after the game.
Absolutely. That'll be great. We're looking forward to it. Jude, thank you so much. And we're really hoping that Joe Buck is calling our guys' names in February.
Hey, we're going to give you a shot of the little laser show here, Mike. A little extra frosting on the cake for News Now.
Oh, yeah? What is this?
You see the laser show?
Yeah, what's going on here?
This is the laser show. This is going to be part of the pregame festivities. So you're looking at the smoke machine. You're looking at the new laser that's going on. Every year you want to jump through a bigger hoop, right? And you want to create more buzz and more entertainment value. So we've seen the technical crew down here. And my guess is now they're working on a new laser show when it comes to player introductions and the smoke machine and everything that goes with it. So we're giving you a little flair of what the testing is all about and what these guys do. This is weeks out from the opener against the New England Patriots. Might even see more of that when they come back for preseason game number 4 against the Broncos. But now it's about lasers. It's about that whole new sound system that they put in, and of course the big scoreboards that have been out here. So this is again all part of the rehearsal and the show. You know, the NFL wants more fannies in the seats. They want attendance. You know, it's so comfortable to watch the game at home in HD and surround sound and everything that goes with that. But they want to create an experience for fans that come down here and say, you know, wow, man, did you see the laser show? And did you hear the new sound system? And, man, can you believe all the neat stuff going on when you attend the game? So it's that balance of trying to really draw fans to games. They won't have any problems here. I mean, it's been sellout after sellout after sellout. But there's always another dimension to the entertainment value of what goes into America's game right now, and that's the National Football League.
That's awesome. And you got to love that they keep reinvesting for the fans. They're giving them a new experience each season.
That's what it's about. It's adding to it. I mean, it's kind of like, can you top this? What's next? And, you know, we've seen that with the way the games are produced. We've seen that with how these networks are competing for the best possible shots. We've got cameras in parts of the pylons, the end zones, cameras on cables floating over the football field, the playing field. So it's a constant competition on what network can outdo what network when it comes to the technical end of production, and then when it comes to these stadiums, putting on a variety of shows that go with everything from player introductions to pregame festivities. So that's just a little flair, and you can see that laser machine going at it right now here on the floor of University of Phoenix Stadium. Of course, the flooring has been pulled out. Now the lights are on here, and a little bit of the smoke machine. Give you a shot of that, Mike. But the great part of this whole process that was designed is that playing field is now getting some moisture, eventually getting some sun, and it really kind of refreshes everything that goes with a very unique playing field on that tray that comes in and out on a daily basis during training camp and allows these guys to practice on natural turf.
Yeah, it's remarkable to see the behind the scenes and what goes into it. It just day in and day out.
Yeah, listen, we're being told by security now to wrap it up here with as they shut it down at 7 o'clock. But I want a special thanks to my man Greg Brown, who was shooting all our video today, doing a great job with getting all of the shots that you see today, from Justin Bethel to Robert Kimdiche to the laser shots. So, Mike, we'll do it again soon. Always a lot of fun to talk Cardinal football, NFL football, live here at University of Phoenix Stadium.
Awesome. We will see you soon, Jude. Thanks so much.
You got it, Mike.